Hello and welcome to our Focus Board online workshop. We are recording this, so hello to everyone that's joining us live and hello to anyone that's watching on YouTube. We will send this one to everyone. Well, there's some people that couldn't make it today, so we'll send the recording to them, but it will also go on public view for other space and time followers. So just bear that in mind as we're going through the session. And as I said, if you are joining us today, feel free to use the chat to ask your questions as you're going along. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can ask questions there. I won't be able to reply straight away, but I will get an email notification if you are watching this. So that will be amazing to be in touch with you. And yeah, looking forward to sharing ideas on creating a focus board today. My name is Julie Cliff. My business is Space and Time. I'm a professional organizer and declutter coach. So I work hands-on with people in their homes to help them declutter and get organized. Before starting my business 11 years ago, I was an executive assistant and an administrator for 20 years. So helping people get and stay organized is something that I've really loved doing and continue to do each and every day, as I said, in people's homes. Today, I'm going to help a new client find her dining room table and work in her spare room. So I'm looking forward to looking through paperwork and all sorts of bits and pieces that get put in the spare room, which can be all sorts. Can't wait to see what we find. Today, we're going to create a focus board. I'll tell you a bit about it in a minute. We can do some hands-on if you've had the opportunity to gather some bits and pieces, magazines and paper, scissors. If you've got them with you, we can go ahead. But otherwise, we can use this as just a bit of an understanding of what a focus board is. And then when you get the recording this afternoon, you can have another listen to it and continue on and create your own focus board. So you can just write notes now, or you can actually start some cutting and pasting. I love to do this session in person as well. So keep an eye on Facebook if you are in Melbourne, not in Canada, on the other side of the world. Keep an eye out. We do these sessions in person, and I do provide all of these cutting and pasting things. So come along to one of those sessions in the future. But today, a little bit more like theory, but helping you to focus on a few important projects to get you underway for the rest of the year. So the idea of the focus board is really to allow us to simplify our life and to focus on fewer projects at a time. So as I said before, my business is Space and Time. So we help people declutter and organize their spaces as well as manage their time. But I find this focus board workshop and the product that you end up with really helpful to allow you to make time to create that focus. You know, what are we going to be doing this year? I'll talk about it in a second, but we've always got so much on our plate. Let's find those important things and get them on our to-do list so that we are really focusing on the right things for us to be doing, rather than the shiny things that'll get in the road too, and I'll talk about them in a minute. So as I said, we've got an hour here today. Ask yourself, ask the questions as you go along. If you're feeling brave, unmute yourself or use the chat. And then we've got some more workshops coming up in the coming weeks for you to join, as well as a one-on-one coaching program that I offer if you'd really like some ongoing accountability to get some of these projects across the line this year. So I'll share some of that as well as we go through. Just let me check the chat. Yeah, thank you. Okay, nothing just there at this moment. So what can we expect today? As I just said before, life is often very complex. We want to have a good look at it today, see where all our to-dos are coming from, and see if we can simplify it to make our focus a little bit more narrow and a focus on those important things that we should be working on. We want to reflect on why we take on so much, have a look at all our to-dos, recognize the distractions from new ideas, prioritize tasks using the 2026 projects page, and integrate these key projects into our daily life. So again, it's not just something that it's fun to do today, which it is, but also being, we need to work at these things. We're not just going to go click our fingers at the end of the time and it be all done today. We want to get some time in the calendar to work on these projects as we're going along. So what is a focus board? Well, a focus board is a bit of a map to look at our key projects and priorities. So it's a little bit like a vision board, but it's a little bit less dreamy and a little bit more action. It's nice and quick and easy to create with a few words, a few lists, some cutouts, a bit of quiet time to do the cut and paste and to be doing the thinking. But the whole emphasis is clarity, goals, and achievable steps. So again, it's not, I want to make $1 million and, all that, those things that we might let the universe know, which are very important, a little bit more practical than that, so that we've got some steps to be able to work through our daily life and make it easier to make decisions on how we spend our time. So, as I said a couple of times already, life is often complex. We've often got a lot of things to do, and there are all of these ideas on the left represented as these little discs, lots of different ideas, opportunities, tasks we should be doing, things for ourselves, things for other people, and on the left, they're a bit of a jumbled mess. By the end of our session today, hopefully we might have just a few clearer projects. I've got 9 here on this piece of paper that we often would do that in a hands-on session. Just the 9 discs fit quite nicely on the page. So thinking about those things that we want to work on and just have some more clarity from that jumbled ideas, just piled up on the left there. This is my vision board from a couple of years ago. I'll show in a sec how it's updated, but the idea is just here to have some simple, actionable items over the next 12 months. This board, when I did it a couple of years ago, was very business focused, which my life generally is. I'm very lucky. My 2 teenagers are quite capable of looking after myself and my husband, so I can do my things, run my business, and have a lot of autonomy. I appreciate that many of you joining us today are in a caring role, have many hats that they wear, whether it's somebody in the home, elderly parents, kids, grandkids. So there's a lot going on. And as I said, life can be very complex. So let's simplify it and just get a few ideas on the page today. This is another focus board that somebody did when they came to one of our in-person sessions a couple of years ago. They just had some nice images, some words to guide them on how they want to focus for the next 12 months. It's pretty, it's fun, it's inspiring, and we want to hang this at the end of the day, somewhere that we're going to look at it and then be able to take steps towards actioning these projects. And this one was done during COVID, second year of COVID lockdowns. 2021, the lady that was joining me from Sydney, she decided to do hers on Canva. So after she finished, she did it online on the platform called Canva, and she just found some beautiful images and words and chose her things that she was working towards. So lots of different ways to do it. This is another one with some bits and pieces from kikki.K, like some pre-made stationery. And the lovely lady Jenny that created this, she joined me just 2 weeks ago and she's reimagined it again. She's done 3 or 4 of these with me. And so, as I say, there's no real right and wrong way of doing this, but by using these little discs, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a second, it'll just get the job done rather than, taking months to complete. We could do it in an afternoon. So this is the 2026 projects page, which I hope you received in the reminder email in the last couple of days. If you didn't receive it, we will send it again this afternoon, this page. And the idea is to sit down and do a bit of a brainstorm and get things out of your mind in relation to these headings, these different projects around health, around finances, personal development, business, fun, etc. And just again, to get it out of your head. And then we, from there, can make some priorities from the list. So if you do have some paper and scissors and glue and things with you now, you're welcome to start cutting out some of these little discs. The idea is, as I said, just to make it simple and nice and easy. I use these little discs as like post-it notes as well. Sometimes this one says turn off the fan, so I'll put that with my car keys when I'm leaving it, and my fan that's just behind me in the office reminds me to turn off the fan. But the idea is, again, just to be looking for some nice colors, maybe some inspiring images, whether it's some green leafy vegetables, whether it's a pair of running shoes. This one here actually has a pair of running shoes, but I've written, I can't see it, like a little to-do. It says invoice for Maria. I think I just used that as a little post-it note. But there's a pair of running shoes if you needed, or walking shoes if you wanted to get out and do some more exercise. So just have a bit of a look. If you've got some magazines or colored paper, you could look for inspiring words and messages, or you could end up doing this just in that projects page, as I showed you before, as mine is, where is my, I rearranged my bookcase and I don't think I put it back up again, but it was what was just on the previous page. So again, the idea of this one is just to be able to get this focus board done in a couple of hours. Don't worry if you can't find that perfect picture of that lovely holiday you want to go on or that perfect outfit. We just want to get it done today. Practice being imperfect, and remember there's no right and wrong way to do this. When I created this idea, this focus board workshop about 5 years ago, my youngest son would have been 9 at the time, and it was around Easter time, and he was helping me cut out these little discs. We had a plastic see-through paper cup, plastic cup, and he was just finding the perfect image and putting it right on the page and drawing perfectly and then cutting it perfectly with his scissors. And I thought that was awesome. But I also said to him, it doesn't have to be that perfect. Don't worry if it's not exactly the right image that you want. You could write across the top of it. But we are practicing being imperfect here, which is a really important thing to do for many people that have got a lot of things on the go. So anyway, this is the fun part that we can start to do a bit of cut and paste for some inspiring images to keep us motivated throughout the year to work on our projects. So we've just shared a few ideas on what we're keen to learn today. If there's anyone else that wanted to add to anything in the chat, go ahead now. Let us know what you're looking to learn, where you are joining us from, and having a think about what you want to learn, because it's really helpful when we're going forward to have a bit of a clear intention on what you want to learn when we're going along to something like this. So we're going to have a think now about why do we have so much on our to-do list? Again, my business, space and time is all about helping people choose how they use their space and time. It's deliberate choices. We're not going about doing things because mum taught us this way or grandma showed us this way, or that's the way that we've always done it. Life changes and progresses as we go. Kids may have been small at some stage, or maybe you don't have kids, maybe your animals have progressed or now they're older. There's so much that changes in our life that we have a lot on our to-do list, and those things on our to-do list change a lot also. Including, maybe you've got some medical appointments, therapy appointments for yourself or people that you're caring for, small people, older people. There's daily care tasks like our children need to eat. So I can either teach them how to cook, as I do with my two, or, preparing meals, personal care, medications. And also, of course, the household management, the cooking, the cleaning, all of those things, take time. So we need to be able to have a look at all of these things that we've got on our to-do list and put them in some sort of priority so we are making time to get the important things done. Let me have a look at the chat. Thank you, Bettina. She says she is finding it hard to let go of sentimental things, particularly from her children. Yes, I hear you, Bettina. And we do have a workshop which we can send the link out to. Mary Lou, if you're there, I'm going to write a note and I'm going to put a link to sentimental items. It's a separate workshop. I'll send that too, but yes, it can be difficult, can't it, to let go of those things. Just very quickly while we're here, I'll just share my ideas about sentimental items. That I believe that not all sentimental items were created equally. Some are much more sentimental than others, and it really is about taking the time to have a look at them. Why are we hanging on to them? Why do they mean so much to us? Could we just take a photo of it, let go of the item and have the photo, or even a letter? You could write yourself a letter about the item or the person or the event. But really, as I said, not all sentimental items are created equally. They are a bit sneaky like that. But as I said, I'll send a link to that separate workshop about sentimental items, keepsakes. It was actually, we've done one very recently, so I'll send you that link. Also, somebody else just made a little comment. Let me have a look. Hope that helps a little bit. You are welcome. And Wailu, hi, great to see you. Definitely too many tasks and care duties, but not enough time in the day. Yes, let's see if we can help you out with that as well. As I said, there's many joining us in the same boat. Cassie says, I've recently been diagnosed with fibromyalgia and struggling with massive loss of capacity and mountains of basic daily tasks and clutter around my home. Cassie, I hear you there, and particularly with the lack of energy. And you've only got so many spoons, as they say, and so much energy to use in the day, and choosing how we use it is a big part of that. So we will look at how we can choose that and then manage our time. We will certainly talk about that. Thank you, ladies. All right, so we do have some control over our time. You've just all of you, many of you have just been sharing all of those different things that are on your to-do list. But just remember, we can choose to take a break, and it is okay to do nothing. You are no good to anybody if you are exhausted. And I know that is often how your just daily being is when you're in a care role. I know that a lot of the time that is unavoidable, but highly recommend you to reach out to all the agencies that you can. Anybody that is offering help. We work with Villa Maria Catholic Homes, Carer Gateway, and Wellways, a number of agencies here in Melbourne that do have support for people who are in a caring role. But also reach out to family, ask friends. And I know we hate doing this and it is very difficult to do, but I really want you to be able to have some of these discs, some of these projects that are focused on you and your important things to do, so that you are getting to the end of the day and you are still able to stand upright and be able to do the things that you need to do. Highly recommend, of course, to schedule regular quiet time just for you, whether it's just going for a walk, whether it's a meditation, whether it's some yoga, Pilates, something like that. That's just quiet time for you. And focusing on only a few priorities at once, because we can't be doing it all at one time. When I'm running my business, I work 20 hours hands-on with clients in a week. Luckily, I have the amazing Mary Lou to help me with my admin. But there is still the washing. There's still the cleaning, although my younger son helps with that as well. There are only 168 hours in the week. So I'll show you some tips as well as we go through how can we get it all done. So just before I go on to this page, Bill is about to come in. Hello, Bill. Thank you. There is the link for the previous workshop for the Keepsakes Declutter, but we will email it out to everybody today. Wendy says, I love the idea of taking photos of the significant sentimental items. Wellways, Margaret is here in Melbourne, in Victoria. They are generally a support for, I was going to say people with mental health challenges, but I don't know if that's strictly correct. But I will make, again, a note about Wellways and put a Wellways link in our follow-up this afternoon. Also, thank you. Welcome, Bill. Great to see you. Let's continue on looking at our projects to, again, get all this stuff out of our head. I'm feeling exhausted by all the things that we've mentioned today, all those things that we do have to juggle each and every day. And you are right, it is difficult to fit into the day. So set yourself a timer. We won't have a chance to do this today, but if you have already had a go or make some time after the session today, is to sit down with this grid and just brainstorm all the things that you would like to work on in these areas of your life in the next 12 months. Again, we can't get it all done at once because there are a lot of other things that we need to do. We've mentioned them. But getting it all out of your head onto a page can be really helpful. You might even want to print out 2 of these if you think there might be many, and then just brainstorm, get them all out of your mind, and then we can start to make some decisions from there. I also mentioned before about the idea of shiny objects or distractions that look exciting or important in the moment, but pull us away from our real priorities and goals. So we can get excited and distracted by new things that come up. And coming up with the ideas sometimes is very easy and fun. Like when I first started my business 11 years ago, it's like, oh, I'd like to do a podcast and I'm going to do a YouTube channel and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But over the time, I've really brought it back to the important things that we do, which is decluttering and organizing. I love to run these workshops here online. I love to run them in person. And we do have these recorded, but we don't have too much more outside of the decluttering and organizing. Somebody told me recently that I should sell organizing products. Like, no, she didn't say I should. She suggested maybe that would be part to go along with the business. But I thought that is really going to distract us from our core business of helping people declutter and get organized. That's not for me. It's not on my my focus board. That shiny object would really pull me away and end up being a whole separate business, I'm sure, if I was going to sell organizing products. But I really appreciated her sharing that idea with me. But so to stick with our main priorities and avoid these shiny objects, really want to get you at the end of the session to be able to put up our focus board somewhere and be able to see it so that we can regularly review it and stay on task. Some shiny objects might be new projects or hobbies, and they seem exciting, but they don't really align with our current goals. As I said before, knock yourself out, do some watercolors, do some yoga, do some arts and crafts. But I would highly recommend we only be working on a couple of these at one time so you can really get down into it and enjoy it and have that time for yourself, but just be able to not be too bogged down with commitments to too many different things. And how do you go with, just checking emails or scrolling on social media? I often go to pick up my phone to send a message to somebody or, something business related. And the next thing you know, I'm in Facebook and I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I've actually taken to writing down, I've got a little whiteboard. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can't see it. It's a little whiteboard from Kmart. It just sits in, I can't see it with my silly background. A little whiteboard. Oh, there he is. Goes across your keyboard, and you can hide the keyboard under it when you don't want your keyboard. And it's just a whiteboard. So I'll write things on there. If I need to send somebody a text message, I'll write text message to Tasha. I'll write it on there and then pick up my phone, because before you know it, you're in Facebook or something on social media and you've gone, what am I doing? And you've lost 10 minutes. Some other shiny objects like special deals or sales that you might have actually seen on Facebook or Instagram or in your email, but you don't really need them, and you don't really need to be wasting your time looking at them. So some of these shiny objects seem awesome at the time, but are pulling you away from these important projects. So come up with some ideas to keep you away from these things. As I said, some of these shiny objects sound really good at the time. Maybe it's a new course you're thinking of doing, joining a committee or doing some volunteering, but they add more to your plate. So be very careful when somebody's saying, how about you come on this committee with us? You are entitled to just say no. There's no need to explain yourself, no need to apologize. I can't fit that on my plate. Can't fit that on my plate. And you don't, as I said, you don't need to explain yourself anymore. Also, helping others too much, saying yes and your priorities suffer. So it might be doing for the kids when they're perfectly capable of doing it themselves. I do still make my 16-year-old's lunch every morning. I do have time to do it. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't take anything to eat if I didn't make it for him. But that could be something, and of me helping others more than I should, that I could say no to if I found that my morning was too busy. And sometimes I do need to go to an early client and he does have to fend for himself. But where in your life too are you saying yes to others too much? And also the constant tinkering, organizing, researching, buying supplies instead of actually doing the work. So maybe you might be a crafter or a sewer or a scrapbooker, and they end up just two separate hobbies, collecting the supplies and actually doing it. There's no time for it. So just be a little bit careful. Again, these shiny objects that are taking us off course, and we're not actually getting to do the things that we want to spend our time on. Let me check the chat again. Thank you. Mary Lou has just popped the handout from today, and again we will send it out with a follow-up email this afternoon. Oh, what else? Jan says walking and a swim 6 days a week is me time. Good on you, Jan. That is awesome. I find caring for my adult son so overwhelming, and dealing with NDIS is incredibly challenging. Funding is not the issue. Yes, I hear all the paperwork, Jan, and everything that goes with it, and the appointments and the therapists and the backwards and forwards and the scheduling. It's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you all for that. Don't forget to use that chat if there's anything else that you wanted to say or ask if we're going along. Right, let's have a look at that 2026 projects page that I mentioned. Jan, did you want to say something else?
No, it's okay. No, it's all right. I'll put it in the chat board if I.
Good on you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Tang. So as I said, on that 2026 page, the projects page, it gets you the opportunity to get it out of your head rather than just overthinking and ruminating about things and overthinking and thinking about it again. We can get it on the page, which in itself can be overwhelming when we see that. But then we really want to have a look at what our priorities are. And often when we fill in this page, we might find that one category outweighs the others. As I said, when I've done this in the past, it's all about business, and the kids might get one little disc. My husband doesn't get any discs, but this is a good opportunity to have a look when it's all out of our head as well. One of the ladies that came along to the hands-on session, the in-person session recently, she got quite emotional when she was telling us that she didn't have anything in the fun part. So she just was reframing that and realizing she does have a lot of fun in her life, and she's so grateful for that. But it gave her the opportunity to have a look at it, do a bit of an audit, and regroup from there. It'd be interesting to see when you get all of these things written down, is it easy to choose just 9 things out of all of those things that you've written down? Is it easy? You know, did you find it easy to spend more time doing things for yourself, or finding more time for exercise, eating more vegetables? Be interested to see what else some of these top things might be on your list as well. What's being a little bit neglected? What do you think is going to, fill your cup and give you more energy? And what things are you not going to put on there? Are there people that you don't want to hang around with anymore, or that are just energy draining and not good for your well-being? I would love for you to be thinking about what you're not putting on your list as well. You don't have to tell us, you don't have to share with us, but there are sometimes, as we're going along, things that can be deliberately left off our list. So if we're looking at the projects as we're going along, what we can do once we've got them on the page is really to pause and define the outcome. Like, as in, have a look at all these things on our big to-do list and what actually needs to be done today, and not just worked on, like what needs to be completed, but also what could we spend a little bit of time on today and over the next 12 months to move that project, because sometimes we can't just sit down and do a project. It might literally take the whole year. If you're trying to get into your spare room, declutter your spare room, maybe it's full of all sorts of things from the past, it might take you quite a few months to work through that. Just bring out one box, and maybe it does have some sentimental items in it, like Bettina mentioned. And sometimes, that can be emotional and can be, can drain some of your energy. But if we pause and define what we're trying to achieve, that can help us when we're creating this projects page, as well as helping us move forward on some of these projects. Also, when we're looking at that page, all these questions are going to help us come up with some priorities and what are really important. We could identify the true deadline. Does some of these things have a real consequence, and does it need to be done now? Like, there might be some paperwork you need to fill out, send a Centrelink, send to the NDIS, that has to be done now, or you're going to lose your funding, or something's not going to happen, or you need to fill out your passport and get that submitted so you can go on your holiday. Some things do have true deadlines, and we want to keep an eye on them. But sometimes things don't have deadlines too, that we want to continue to progress with as well. I'll share some ideas shortly on how we can put some of those things in the calendar each day to move forward on them. And we could also just choose one task to do, and also some tasks that we can delegate, delay, or delete. So we could delegate to other family members. Like I said, I definitely could get my 16-year-old to make his own lunch to take it to school. Or I could delegate some more of the things around the house. I would love to be able to delegate getting the lawns done, but my husband likes to do it, so I help him. So that's delegating in a way. Maybe we could delay it. Maybe this task doesn't have to be done right now. Maybe in 6 months' time might be better. Or maybe, which is my favorite thing to do on a to-do list, is to get a big, fat, thick black texter and just cross things off. We don't need to do them at all. You know, it might be beautiful to send out handwritten Christmas cards or a Christmas letter or you know, something like that that takes up time and energy, but doesn't really need to be done. You could really take some relief and some weight off your shoulder by deleting some of these things that you might have had on your to-do list for a long time, but you really don't need to do it. It is more of a should. Someone said you should do it. I'm here to say that you shouldn't have to do things at all. This is your projects page, your focus board. And I want you to be working towards your projects for you and your family. And I want you to be able to pick 1, 2, or 3 of them and commit to them and get them completed before you switch to something else. Sometimes I do like to have a couple of different projects on the go, and I do know that people tell me, particularly with their decluttering as well, they might have a couple of different areas of the house they're working on, or some physical decluttering, as well as maybe some paperwork type thing. So then they've got a little bit of an opportunity to flick between the different tasks that they are working on. They might think, oh, you know, they've got a bit of decision fatigue, can't look at the kids' keepsakes anymore. Let's put that away for a bit and move on to the next project. But it would be great if we are just working on a fewer amount of things at a time so we can really put our focus into them, cross them off the list, get them done, and moving on to the next one. Because we really haven't got the time and the energy, and particularly with a few people have already shared that they are already at capacity. They are exhausted themselves because of all the other tasks that they have to do in the role that they're in. So if we can really reduce the amount of things that we're working on at one time is works wonders for our little brains that need to be managing all of these things. And there's a few questions here we can ask ourselves as well with in regards to priority setting. You know, does this task take me towards my goal? So one of those things that you wrote in your health and well-being or your business section or your finance section, does that thing actually move you towards your goal? Or is it something you can just cross off the list? Does this lighten my mental load? Is it something that's on your mind all the time? Is the fact that you can't get to your dining table and can't sit down as a family and enjoy dinner because it's full of things, is that always on your mind, even when you walk out the front door? Maybe that's somewhere that you might like to start on your dining table so you have a nice space to work on. And which of all the tasks will give you the highest payoff, again, with that mental load or a real sense of achievement? Or when I'm looking at my to-do list in relation to my business, there might be some other people in the session today that are running their own business. You know, which one's going to make me the most money? As I was saying before about YouTube and podcasts and things, I think they really do detract from our main core business of decluttering. So as I say, I try and focus on these workshops and our hand-on sessions because they do make us the most money. So there might be some things on your projects page, on your a page that you've written down all your ideas and all your to-dos. Have a look at that in that lens as well. And some things that are on your list might be costing you money as well. So you might be able to get rid of them as well. And the last one, when we're talking about priority setting, when you've got this massive to-do list, if today I could just do 3 or 4 little tasks of values, which one would they be and which one would be of real impact? And that might help you decide what you are focusing on. I'm going to have a look at the chat. If anyone's got some things on there that you've discovered while we've been talking, let me know 2 or 3 things you definitely are going to put on your focus board to focus on this year. But also let me know a couple of things that you're definitely not going to spend some time on, or less time. Like I said, maybe less time scrolling on your phone. Feel free to share it in the chat while I read. Bettina said, I found or made time to write a book. You did. And I've got them right up here on my little bookcase, Bettina. Made time to write a book by going straight to my desk and doing the housework afterwards. Yes, I love that idea, Bettina. Just get up and get stuck into those important projects rather than, oh, I'll just check my email. Oh, I'll just put that away. I'll just vacuum that. I'll just wash the cat. Time does disappear. I love that idea. Sitting down and writing a whole book by just doing that first thing in the morning as soon as you get up. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a great thing to be looking at. Absolutely, less tidying and more writing. Absolutely. Cassie says lots of time on health and finding small daily fun things. I love it. No focus on relationships. Oh, yes, I hear that. Yes, whether that is something that you want to tweak a bit, Cassie. As I said, my kids and my husband always miss out when I do this. Not at the moment. Yep, good on you. But it is a really good audit, isn't it? When we have this mind dump and these big long lists of things to do, if we start to look at it through these different lenses of the importance of the task, it really changes how we look at them. Again, we only have 168 hours a week, and I would love for you to have some sleep during that time. I'd love for you to have some me time. I would love for you to have some time with your friends and family, as well as your decluttering projects and your other projects that you are working on. Again, whether it's managing people in your home, or whether it's your paid work, whether it's your business, we can really have a good think and an audit of what we're spending our time on. Since we've only got the hour and only 15 minutes to go now, I'd really love for you to put some more time in the calendar to finish off your focus board. Again, I'm going to send out the links to all of this afternoon, so you'll have the handout again if you didn't receive it. You can fill out your projects page with all the little headings, like your to-do list. And then you can also make some time, schedule some time in your calendar to start cutting out the discs. I'd love to see your completed board when you're done. Send it to me in an email, and that can help you stay accountable as well, and keep you on task to some of these things. So this is all about making time to get this focus board done after the session today. And have a think now as well where you would like to hang your focus board. Mine, when it's on the wall, actually, I think it was on the wall and it's fallen down. It has too. I've got this terrible stuff that is not blue tack, it's white, and things just fall down. So it is under my desk. That's why I can't see mine. But where are you going to put yours? Put it somewhere where you can see it, like I said, so you can review it often, keep you on task, on focus, and moving towards completing those tasks. It might be in your office, your bedroom, your bathroom, have a bit of a think. I also have had some people in our hands-on sessions say to me that they're going to put theirs inside their wardrobe, so they still see it often, but it's not on display to the whole family because they had some relationships they wanted to work on and some things that they wanted to do with their family. So they didn't want it plastered all over, for everyone to see. So have a good think about where you might put your focus board once it's completed. Let me have a look at the chat and then we'll have a look at daily maintenance. Wailu says, not getting distracted with phone notifications, but to prioritize sleep after important tasks. I love that idea. My notifications are fairly well turned off on my phone and my computer. I don't have notifications when email comes up. I will go and check my email when I want it. Unless you were in a sort of customer service role or something and you needed to know when an email was coming in, I'd highly recommend turning off those notifications on your phone and on your computer. I do have notifications when someone sends me a text message, and I do get them on my watch as well, and I can monitor them when I'm working with my clients. But there are many things that we do not need to be notified of. And you are right, Wailu, that can be very distracting. And she says there about prioritizing sleep. I do have an alarm at night time that goes off at 8:45 to say it's time to go and get ready for bed. It is one of my husband's pet hates because he thinks I go to bed way too early, but I get up early. So I do prioritize my sleep, and I sleep very well. You know, I put my head on my pillow, I'm asleep and up at 5:35 each morning. But again, I'm so lucky I don't have to be tending to people and caring for people, broken sleep. I know that that can be a problem in many households. But Wailu, I love it that you are prioritizing your sleep. Highly recommend it. You go for it. Wendy says putting tennis first and before daily coffee catch-ups. I love it. Good on you. Great to have your follow-up and so helpful. You are welcome, Wendy. Jan says searching for an important email and have so much junk even when I block them. They are so cheeky, aren't they? I don't know how they get through sometimes. They even you unsubscribe and they still manage to find their way through. And Jan also says light bulb moment, give up one U3A section to go to the library. And that will be an awesome idea. Yeah, you can still go to some things, but maybe you can just drop one session. Great idea. And then focus on something for yourself. I love that idea. But U3A certainly has some great things going on. I can hear that they would be very helpful for you. Wailu, you are welcome. She says very helpful and practical tips. Margaret says, could you please show us your whiteboard over your keyboard? I'll have to take a photo of it because I don't think you can see it. I'll make a note to see if we can find it, whiteboard, and send a link, whiteboard link. Because you can still buy them at Kmart, and I'm sure Amazon will have them, so I'll send a link afterwards. Jan says, beside the fridge in the kitchen, visible in your face. I love it. So that's where Jan's going to hang her board. It's fantastic. Cassie says, yay for sleep. I love it. Good on you. Let's have a look at some daily tasks. We've got 10 minutes or so. Daily things that we can do to move these projects forward. Again, I've loved having your company today. I could talk about these focus boards all day and all night. I love them. But we need to be able to take some tips away today and actually implement them. So what you can do is write down your tasks every day as though they have already happened. I have this notebook. I'm sad to say it was from 2019, but I was very diligent at the time. And I would write down my key projects every morning as though they had already happened. I am an exceptional keynote speaker. I run a multi-million-dollar business. I have $1 million in the bank account. That's not true, but I love it anyway. I am part of an exceptional business network. I am an expert at making life simple. So these were my things, and I sat down for 2 years. Every morning only takes 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and I did let the universe know what my intentions were. I sat down every morning and wrote them. So maybe you might do that yourself. Maybe it might be just the two or three things that you are working on at the moment. I want you to be able to stay focused and say no to the things that are outside of these projects. Like Jan just said, thanks U3A, I will come along to a couple of sessions, but I'm not coming to a third one. I'm going to put something in my calendar instead of that one. I'm going to say no to that one and put something in your calendar for yourself. So practice saying no. Practice saying no to the people that you live with, the people that are quite capable of doing them for themselves. Say no to committees, say no to volunteering. Again, we love doing all these things, but sometimes we just don't have the time or the bandwidth to do it. We only have so many hours and so much energy each and every day. We can set reminders on our phone and act on them. As Wailu says, sometimes those reminders and those notifications can get in the way, but I do have important ones that pop up. I had a few that popped up to remind me to pay my amazing assistant, Mary Lou, which I did. So I have those recurring things in my Google Calendar that sync with my phone and my watch, so that I do act on them straight away. But you can also put your projects in your calendar as well. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. And I'm just going to go away, everyone. I'm trying to find you my lock screen. That second point there says, use your lock screen to reinforce your focus. I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose that. Oh, for heaven's sake, where are your lock screen? Here it is. Right. So I took a photo of one of the discs that I was focusing on for that particular month. It was when I was putting on some new staff, and it says HR. It says Contractors Documents and Procedures Manual. So every time I pick up my phone, that was reminding me of that project. So you can, on an iPhone, you just tap and hold the screen. It will come up and you can add your own. But at the moment, I have, we just started the rugby league season last week. Melbourne Storm had a good run, good win. So I've got Melbourne Storm on there at the moment. But we can use our technology to help remind us of things. Highly recommend that. And schedule your project work at your best time of day. Exactly what Bettina said, her best time to write her book. And I have written a draft of a book as well in half-hour increments at 7:30 each morning for quite a big part of the year, because early in the morning is good for me, but might not be so good for you. Maybe you're an afternoon person. Maybe you're a 4 o'clock person. Maybe you're an evening person. That is the best time for your energy. But please don't be up at midnight, 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Again, it might be nice and quiet. It might be a good time to focus. But again, we are prioritizing sleep. So schedule this important work at your best time of day when you have the best energy, and literally put it in the calendar. So you can either use your online calendar, like a Google Calendar, or your paper diary. Schedule that time in the calendar. Put all your projects in, put your cooking, your cleaning, this, that, decluttering, literally plan it out. And we will share the link to this in the notes this afternoon. So you can print this out and sort out your week so that you've got some quiet time in between as well. Put a nap. I've got a client that has a nap at 1:30 every afternoon. Can't start her appointment until at least 2 o'clock when she's woken up. Prioritize your energy and your sleep. Highly recommend it. So also, while we're talking about organizing and focusing our time, how about we look at the spaces that surround us as well, your home environment. And is your home environment that you are surrounded with, supporting your life and supporting this newfound clarity? And does your stuff support your organized life and the fact that you want to work on these priorities? So we might want to spend a little bit of time setting up some systems around us, so that if you want to do more watercolor painting, how about you put aside and in that weekly planner some time to declutter your art supplies and your craft, and set up a bit of a painting station with your brushes, your paints, your paper, so it's ready to go, so you can just sit down and do it. Again, this might take you a day, it might take you a week, it might take you 2 weeks to set up this space, but this is decluttering with real intention, and then intention to be able to move you towards your project and your focus, which is more watercolor painting. Or maybe you want to improve your fitness. So like me, every morning my clothes for my morning walk, run, exercise in front of the TV is all ready to go. I got it out the night before. My shoes are ready to go. I've got, everything there. So I can just put it on when I wake up. It's ready to go. And maybe you might have a lot of admin, like we were talking about before, MDIS, NDIS, aged care packages. All of these things come with a lot of paperwork. So maybe your project might be easier admin. So maybe we could set up some systems for your loose papers, set up some folders to file them, and being able to figure out what is that easy admin process for you. So some of those things that you have on your focus board, spend some time decluttering and organizing so that you have more time to just be able to sit down and work on them. And some of these might give you some ideas on how you go about doing that and setting up the right environment for you to be able to work on these important projects. So what are you going to spend your time on in the next 5 minutes, 15 minutes, next hour, next 24 hours to be able to move this on, move these projects on? And in the handout, there is a commitment chart that you can fill out and write down what you are going to do first. What are you going to do as soon as we finish the session today? What are you going to do in the next hour, the next 24 hours? And really make a commitment to yourself to work towards completing some of these tasks. So today, and I'll have a look at the chat in a second. Today we have been mindful of where all our to-dos come from and avoid unnecessary tasks. And I get that big texter out and just give them a cross. Stay focused by scheduling time daily to work on your projects. Write your projects as though they have already happened in the notebook, like I showed you, to reinforce your commitment to them. Use reminders, lock screens, and intentional spaces to stay on track. And ensure your physical environment supports your organized approach to life. So as promised at the start, I do have a Get and Stay Focused program. It's a one-on-one program for 6 weeks. So if you'd like to take up this offer of 6 hour-long sessions here on Zoom to be able to work out what you're working on, what's working, what's not, how can we streamline your to-do list even further? Have you still got too many things going on? We can make time in your calendar for 1 hour for you and me to jump on Zoom and have 6 hour-long sessions over the next few weeks if you would like to take up that Get and Stay Focused program. It would really be a great way to move the needle on some of those projects you wrote down today. The link will be in the chat, and also we'll send it around this afternoon. And the next workshop we have in 2 weeks' time is Downsizing Made Easy. So maybe you're moving to a smaller home, maybe you already have, or are thinking about it, or just want to have less stuff in the home. Come to our Downsizing Made Easy workshop. Again, the link will be in the chat and in our email this afternoon. And then a couple of weeks after that, Thursday, 9th of April, time management for busy households. So it'd be some of the similar things that we spoke about today, but with more focus on the calendar and managing things rather than the hands-on focus board that we've created today. And also, if you're still not quite sure where you are at, you would like some clarification, book in a chat with me. The link is in the chat, and again, will be in the email this afternoon. 15-minute chat, clarity call to help you just, move your way forward a little bit, set some priorities, and that's just a free chat, just for my thanks to you for being here today. Let me have a look at the chat, and then we will go stop. Oops, sorry, I'm supposed to stop share is what I'm trying to do. And then I'm going to look at the chat, and then if there's any other questions, So we've got, so Jan says, how do I see the project board? So that's the one that you're going to finish, or the one that I've been working on, Jan? She's replying. Awesome. I'll have a look at that in a second. It's all right. No problem. You are welcome. I think I answered the question. Let me have a look at Bettina. Sorry, Dione says, better utilize and leverage my habit trapping app. I love it. Say no more often. Don't overextend. I love it. Mary Lou has put the link into our weekly planner. Thank you. Jan says, I go to bed to sleep with Michael Seeley. Nice. I love it. A phone hypnotherapy session and very successful. I love it. Thank you. Bettina, I use the bookend method. I make time by writing first, then housework, then writing. When I can't concentrate, I do housework. I love that idea. Just use work on a project, have a little bit of a break, come back to your project. Thanks, Bettina. There's the link there that Mary Lou has shared in the chat for the Get and Stay Focused program. Wendy, I think you are right. You've got the little whiteboard there. Thank you for sharing that. Excellent. That's a very similar one. Thank you for that. That's excellent. Mary Lou has also shared the Downsizing Made Easy and time management link and the clarity call and my email. Any last questions before we wrap up? I've been talking a lot. If we didn't cover anything today, either pop it in the chat now or follow up with an email. I just noticed we've gone over time. If there's nothing else, I thank you all for coming. As I said, I'll send all the links and all the things we've spoken about today. But just send me a reply if there's anything that I missed or if you need clarification on anything. And hello and goodbye, and look forward to seeing you at one of our sessions again soon. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you all.